Yeah, I remember reading that article. Let me tell you, a lot of my radio life is very surreal, to be honest. I remember reading that article in my high school library. Homeboy's Radio High is this popular DJ. I'm like, okay, I don't know. And
Can I tell you a true story?
yeah.
When I came to Homeboy's Radio for the first day, and this time I just to visit Kenya. I was here for 2 days. And I don't know, I'll shout out to super producer Duncan. And I don't know who else was training the guys. And they're telling the guys, we've got this radio presenter from the BBC. He's coming. He says, now, I don't know if they expected me to be white. But when I walked in as this guy with a baseball cap and I could literally sense these people the fuck? You're bringing somebody in here all the way from the BBC and he's black like us.
What's he gonna teach us?
Oh man,
that's crazy. That's insane. So now, continue.
No, go on.
So now coming into the 254, and you've said you hadn't given up your house just yet. When did you actually decide that, you know what, I'm actually gonna do this thing, or do you still have a house out there?
No. I guess probably, I don't know, it's probably 6 months or a year after, because it was too hard doing.
Okay.
Both
the back
sides.
and forth.
Yeah. And also just paying back and forth, paying here, paying there, and still taking care of bills there, and it's empty, and it's, And I just went back home one day, and I just called everyone, and I just gave everything away. Yeah. I just gave away everything in the house. People thought I was crazy. It's like, yo, you want the TV? You have the TV. Oh, you like those Jay-Z things? Take those Jay-Z signed albums, which I regret.
Why did you do that?
Why did I give away my Jay-Z signed albums? And just stuff, and it's one thing I would say about me as a human. Yeah, I'm not attached to anything materially. Okay, you get me? If I leave here tomorrow, the only thing I know that I'll take would probably be my laptops. I probably wouldn't even take my decks. I probably wouldn't take any of this stuff, to be honest, because the idea of just carting up all of this stuff and moving with it would be like, whatever. I'm not attached to anything materially, so it wasn't hard, Yeah. And then I was here. Damn. And I was not white. Can I talk about that for a bit?
Yes, please.
So let me tell you, Ruby. I don't think you're gonna be able to put this podcast out in one bit, because
it's fine.
Right. So let me tell you. So when I came, right, everyone was like, yo. They were in the few blogs you had then, they were like, yo, this guy will never be Phil Matthews. This guy will never be John Wilkins. And those are guys who also came from the UK, I think, because I've never met them, to do radio in Kenya or teach guys. And I think they were some of the pioneers of that time, And I didn't even know who these people were. And I was always being compared to these people. And I remember at some point I wrote an article saying that you guys will never respect me because I don't fit into that BBC. And no disrespect to any of them, when I Googled them and did research on them, they'd worked at very local radio, local BBC. I'd done the national station. You know what I'm trying to say? So, but I'm obviously it's not their fault, and here we are, and we have created and we have trained and we have taught almost probably more people than they did as well. And that's just the element of me not being humble at this point. But I'm back to normal now.
Wow.
People, I'm telling you, people are not going to respect me and my contribution to the Kenyan space until I bounce. Okay. And I'm cool. I've come to peace with that. Yeah. And it's fine because we'll move on to the next and we'll do the next thing. But that's what's gonna happen. Watch. You'll be around.
I'll be around. But I think, people have started noticing, or people do pay attention with the whole dancehall ambassador thing, making Sepatuka a whole wave, making actually Jamaican music, reggae, dancehall become a thing in the 254. How did you become the dancehall ambassador?
I think, I don't even know how that name came around. But I just think that, obviously I'm Jamaican and I went to school in Jamaica. So a lot of the artists who are prominent now were either just coming through when I was there, or they were kids, or so So I know people. So one of the people who I'm really, really close to was Arif Cooper. So at high school, Arif Cooper's a very famous producer, very famous radio guy in Jamaica, right? Arif's dad was Ibo Cooper, who was original member of a reggae group, an internationally famous reggae group called Third World. So if you can imagine, when I was growing up, Arif's dad was an international star. So like, we drive up into the hills, he had a satellite dish and they had more than one car and a swimming pool. Like they were rich, like in our eyes, because we were poor, or we were kind of in the middle, right?
Yeah.
So Ibo was the first superstar that I knew, right? Very strict guy, an academic. I think now he's probably professor or something at the Edna Manley Music School or something in Jamaica. So Arif was always connected. So when I came over here, and me and Arif maintained, contact from those days and now, and Arif would have his rhythms and his stuff. He'd send them to me first. And Arif is a very deliberate producer in the sense that he can make a song today, and Arif will not release a song until Arif feels like releasing that song. So he can release a song 5 years later. That's how he is. And so a couple of the rhythms that he gave to me, I had them exclusively forever. Yesterday on Twitter, people were saying how we've come far, because once upon a time, I would play a song in the morning and you wouldn't hear that song again until I felt like playing it again a week after. So we had all of these super exclusives. And in those days, when something was exclusive to Homeboys, it was exclusive to Homeboys. You would hear it nowhere else. So I did that, going back to Jamaica, getting the exclusive interviews, the Alains, the Chris Martins, the Ceciles, the Conscience, and everybody else. Shonizzle, G-Wiz. We've interviewed everybody. Taurus Riley, Romain when he was like a kid. I put the work in. You know what I'm trying to say? Yeah. I put the work in, and then added to that, we started the night Uptown Thursdays, which used to be at Resorus. So when everything was symbiotic, the artist would come for a show, they do a performance or an appearance at Uptown Thursday. I don't think, and I'm not boasting, I don't think before Homeboys Radio, especially in the reggae fraternity, access to artists was as up close and personal as it became.
Facts.
I think that's a fact, and that's just come to me.
It's true.
You would come to Resorus, and Elaine would be at Resorus. Chris Martin, Cecile, Conscience, Kiprich, Anthony B, all of these artists have passed through a little club in Westlands. I don't think that ever happened before.
True.
Because I think that reggae in those days was marginalized. It's ghetto music, is this, it's for these guys. And I think the whole Uptown movement, whether people want to admit it or not, the whole Uptown movement brought a lot of people who liked reggae music into a space where they felt safe to enjoy it.
Yeah.
Facts only. People,
without the stereotype.
People will, and people will always will never agree. They'll say, oh, it wasn't you, or you guys weren't the first, or you didn't do it. And I don't care. Me, I think if you were there in that moment, you knew the shift in how reggae is perceived in Kenya happened with the growth of Homeboys Radio. Those are just facts.
True. Is this now all these artists or access to artists, you've spoken about the exclusives, is that what led to Uptown FM, or was this decided when Homeboys was also coming up?
No, so Uptown Radio was basically, I think if I remember correctly, it was basically a frequency that Mike's friend had, Mike being the owner of Homeboys. And at that point there, his first inclination was to put a gospel station there. So there was a station called Power Radio, which was in the same building as Homeboys. Actually, it was across, where Uptown used to be? Yeah. That's where Power Radio was. Okay. So I remember like the whole Power team, Kubamba, those Mo, this guy's name, Jagush.
Oh, and Jagush.
Jay,
Okay.
all of them, Sadiq, all these guys, that's where they were. Okay. So they used to run that station, and at some point, it got really hectic because, at some point, I was like, yo, we need to get sales guys to sell Power Radio. Then it was like, only people who are Christians can do that. It's just a lot of nonsense.
Damn.
So basically, it didn't work commercially, and the decision was made that they were going to change it to a dancehall station, because by then, dancehall was huge, going with the flow. And I can still remember the night when Power Radio switched off. I was at Resorts, and I remember sitting in my car outside Resorts, listening to their final link. And this final link was like an hour long, man.
Damn.
And they were praying and they were doing all of this stuff. And I remember saying to myself, yo, get off the air. No, because I was now beginning to feel guilty, like, yo, you're taking this station going off there is going to be replaced by dance. And I remember the first song that played on Uptown Radio was Watch Me Lord, Christopher Martin.
Wow.
So I thought, like, that's a nice seg into what we're doing. Okay. But yeah, we had fun with Uptown. The Voice was a friend of mine in the UK. Shout out to Jay Davidson. She had an amazing voice, and she did the voiceovers and stuff. And the station grew. I remember that's when I met Heno. Heno used to bring me mixed CDs, like till he couldn't bring them no more, to Resorts. And then eventually, I think I listened to one. I was like, this guy's not bad. And I got him to do a mix on Uptown Radio. This is way back. This has got to be 2012, 2011. And I knew Uptown was having impact because one day, in those days, they used to have this thing called the Stedman Report, which was like something to do with the numbers. And they came to do a presentation at Homeboys, and they were saying, yeah, your listenership is this, but on Wednesday afternoons, you guys have got a reggae dancehall show, and the listenership is up here. And then someone was like, I think you got the stations confused. That is the other station. That's Uptown. And yeah, that's what, so it was a good moment. And unfortunately, I think if politics had not forced that station to end, I reckon now it would be probably one of the biggest stations in Nairobi. But it was forced to end because of a whole bag of bullshit. So
that was my shit. Back in the day, actually, a lot of people don't believe me when I say I used to listen to a lot of reggae. So like my radio 24/7 was 191.1.
91.1.
Yes, that was my shit. Like I remember an interview with Cecile, and she did a drop for Cafe, and I was like, wait, like radio is this lit? Like you can actually get an artist to sing your name or some shit. That
was the axis right there, the axis of terror. 91.1, 91.5.
Yeah, exactly.
But big men fell out, threw the ball out of the court, and started to fight each other. And one station had to die in order for the other station to live.
Yeah, and here we are.
And Uptown Radio was the sacrificial lamb. Uptown Radio died in order for Homeboys to live.
Damn.
It's crazy.
Do you ever feel like that is a station that you would want to revive when the timing is right?
Not now. You see, like now in my life now, I've always said I'll never ever run another station. Like right now where I am, I'm comfortable. Do my show in the morning, go home. Don't stress about anything else. I listen to some of the other guys on the station. I'm completely divested.
Okay.
I'm completely divested of the attachment I've had to anything and any station. And it might sound like a surprise. It's not me saying that I don't love what I do. But where I am right now in terms of not having the day-to-day control, not having to run anything, not having to answer people's leave requests, I'm in my element, man. I'm in my element, bruv. For as long as it lasts, I'm in my element. And if it ends tomorrow, man's it's been good, and
a good run.
And I look at I love the station, and I think I will always love the station. But I also understand that things evolve and things change,
Yeah.
So yeah, man. I mean, long may it continue, man, and long may you wake up to my voice. But I think we have to be honest that there's gonna be a day when you turn on the radio and I'm not gonna be there.
Damn, have you thought about that? Is it something you think about?
I think about it a lot.
Yeah.
And I think about it a lot as a spur to keep doing it, to keep going, to keep pushing, to keep trying to get better.
Okay.
You know what I'm trying to say? Because it's something that I've really enjoy. I really enjoy. But at the end of the day, I'm also a realist as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, we want the station to be as big as it is, and I'm a fan of hip hop, so it's not really like the new direction doesn't really phase me, so to speak. Yes, I'd love to have a bit more control and play some more dancehall music. But hey, guess what? I don't have that control.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Now, as someone who has been on radio for a minute now, like since 92, that's what, 28. God damn it, that's 2 decades, almost 3. And having done GMITM for like 12 years now, how do you keep yourself interested in the job or in the show? How do you keep yourself challenged and just on your feet about whatever shit is happening?
I think, see, what it is, I think there's a formula, and I think the formula is, if you're interested in life, I'm a great believer there's no retirement age for radio. If you are, if you're an observer of life, if you're interested in life and interested in people, right, you're gonna keep going, you know. And I think for me, I always say that the superpower has been music. Because I'm not one of those radio presenters who doesn't like music. By the way, there are so many radio presenters who just put up the microphone and say, that was Beyonce Black Parade. You're listening to XYZ. Now, did you see the newspaper? They don't really care about the music. I mean, at the end of the day, I can hear it because I'm in the game. But the fact is, I got into music. I got into radio with music. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got into radio with music. I didn't get into radio to be famous. I didn't get into radio to shit. 3 o'clock. Remember I had the 3 o'clock. But no, it's fine. We'll no, it's okay. It's okay. We'll sort ourselves out, right? So I need to get dressed though. Not that I'm doing Ruby's podcast naked, just so you lot know, yeah. I had a 3 o'clock appointment, and the 3 o'clock appointment has just arrived, and I need to go somewhere, but we're going to finish this, because I'm doing this interview, and I'm never doing another interview after this one.
Thank you.
So let me just finish this one properly, yeah?
Thank you.
So yeah, I came into radio with music, with the love of music. So I can get as much as I love the old school, and as much as I love, the era of the Snoops and the Dre's and the 50 Cents and the Nas and the Jay-Z's, I still get excited by Fivio Foreign. I love drill, whether it's from the UK or from New York. I'm still across all of the evolutions of hip hop, not because it's research. It's because I like the music.
Yeah.
It's because I love music. So I still want to know who is the hottest artist in New York. I want to be able to explain to my audience why Pop Smoke's album is so important for the culture, but how I know for a fact it wasn't the album he wanted to do. Yeah, and I need to be able to explain that. I need to explain that if Pop Smoke was alive, there would have been UK artists on his album without a doubt. You see what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
You have to so having the first for that, and then combining it with the evolution of society, like recently Wiley has been cancelled in the UK because he made some remarks that people considered were anti-Semitic. But it's going beyond what he said to understand why he could have said that, and how the response to what he said has been overplayed, and how he's effectively the first person. People talk about cancel culture. I think Wiley's the first person to have been cancelled. He's had his YouTube taken, his Instagram, his Facebook, his Twitter. I guess many of the mainstream radio stations probably won't play his music. He's effectively being cancelled. But we have to analyze the reasons why and see if it's fair. And I don't think it's fair what's happened to him, but it's staying across those things and having an interest and being passionate about those things that keep you relevant. I mean, if I was just the person who's like back announcing Beyonce's Black Parade, this is now Fivio Foreign with Big Drip on this, I'd be gone.
Yeah, that sounds boring.
Yeah.
Yo, it's actually shocking to me that there's people who get into radio to like just
be famous.
Yeah.
Ay. Fam, we used to have a radio school. We set up a radio school when I came.
Yeah.
And we used to have a radio school, and we used to teach people radio, and we've had some very famous people come through that school. People who come to me and say, you taught me at the Homeboys Radio Academy, and I don't even remember.
Damn.
I mean, for example, Terry Mokamba from
Classic 105.
Classic, yeah.
I was in high school with that shorty.
All right. So Terry was at the Homeboys Radio School.
Yeah.
I didn't remember until she reminded me, like, the late Saliva Vic was there as well. Amina was there. Amina was there too. There's a guy called Eric Gates in the Coast. He was there too, and he's killing it in Mombasa as well. Like, he's the big boy in Mombasa. So it's like quite a few people came through those doors. So I don't know. It's just. I used to ask the people the question. They're like, "Why do you want to do radio?" And the minute somebody would say, they put their hands up like, "I want to be famous." I'm like, "Cool, that person is not passing." Because you're in it for the wrong reason.
Yeah.
You might pass it academically, but you'll probably never make it in the industry because radio is not something you do because you want to be famous.
True.
Radio it's a job where do you know the responsibility of waking up with someone every single day who you're not married to, who you're not sleeping with? Mm-hmm. Think about that shit. Think about, when I meet somebody who now tells me, "Fam, you guys kept us going. Homeboys Radio kept us going through high school." And this is now somebody who I'm meeting who's in a legal firm, who's doing legal work for me.
Yeah.
And he's now telling me, "Oh, there's a time you had this. And I'm saying, years later,
yeah,
this person has got fond enough memories that when they're dealing with you in the capacity of their own lives, those memories are positive. Fam, that's a big responsibility.
That's dope.
You know what I mean?
When you were getting into radio, what did you want your legacy to be?
For me, it's something I struggled with because, we come up and these big words are thrown at us. Purpose, legacy, and also, what's the other one? Passion. Find your passion, find your purpose, define your legacy. Well, here's the thing. My passion obviously is radio and communication. That was easy. But my purpose, I think, was harder for me to define. And it's only recently, maybe 2-3 years ago, I realized by looking at my career what my purpose has been. My purpose has always been to open doors that were closed to me. So the struggle that I had to get into radio, I've always shared my knowledge, shared my experience. I've never been that person to hold back on the knowledge I've acquired over the years. Because I like to see a new presenter come in and go from A to Z. I like to see the Andy Youngs, the Nevilles, yourselves come and grow up into that. Like I had to say to Ray the other day, Ray who's at KISS, I said, "You do realize you're one of the top female presenters in this country?"
Yeah.
And she was like, "What, really?" I said, "You think about it. Look around you and tell me who's been doing this for as long as you've been doing it." And she was like, "Wow."
Yeah.
Those stories, I love those stories. So my purpose, I think, is to help open doors. And even when I move on from this part of the journey, the next journey is going to be used to give back some of the stuff that's been, that we've done over the years and, acquired over the years,
Yeah.
In terms of legacy, I don't care about legacy.
Yeah.
I don't think legacy exists. I think legacy is something that people have created to chain you, to get you to behave a particular way. Because if I die tomorrow, you guys are going to mourn me for max 6 months, 3 months, maybe even 2. My family will always miss me. But in a year's time, when the club's open, there'll be a little man in there playing some one dropper and you'll be having a good time. The last thing you're going to say is, "Yo, G-Money used to do this." Legacy is bullshit. I don't care.
Yeah.
When I'm gone, I'm gone. And it's not for me to live my life to create a legacy. It's for me to live my life to maximize it so that I enjoy it and the people around me enjoy it as well. Because when I'm dead, I can't help nobody.
True.
You can look back and say, back in 2007, G-Money came from England. He helped start a radio station. So who gives a fuck? Nobody cares. Do not get caught up in legacy. I don't care. Y'all can just say, "He was this brother who didn't talk to nobody. He was an asshole." And I'd be like, "Cool. I'll be dead. I won't even give a fuck."
It's all good. So good. As we wrap up, because then I want you to get to your appointment. Talk to me about this transition into podcasting.
Podcasting?
Yeah.
Wow. Let me tell you. Podcasting, first of all, we were supposed to start a podcast 3-4 years ago. Many people don't realize that one of the first podcasts that ever happened in the 254 was Calvin's podcast. He did a podcast called Unverified,
yes,
like 8 years ago.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So he's always been pushing the conversation for podcasting. Podcasting is not even the future. It's the now. And the beautiful thing, which is why I don't fear the future, is that, guess what? In some capacity, even if I'm not on the microphone, you will still hear me. You'll still be able to fuck with me. I'll still be able to run competitions. I'll still be able to express myself. I'll still be able to do all of this stuff. And the important thing is, and I say this absolutely free to anybody who owns a radio station right now, you need to integrate podcasts into your broadcast schedule, or you're going to be left behind, or you're going to be irrelevant. Because if you do not integrate podcasts into your broadcast schedule, you are creating the opportunity for people to go elsewhere to find the things that they like. I personally think that every station should have a strand. Maybe it could be midnight till 2 a.m. It could be 11 till whatever, where the best podcasts are signed up for those particular spots, and they're played no holds barred.
Yeah.
Because the fact of the matter is, at the end of the day, in this digitally diverse broadcast space, if I want to get analysis on football, if I can't listen to HBR Fan Zone on a Saturday on Homeboys Radio, I'm gonna find a podcast that gives me my fix. There's a podcast called Extra Time, which is done here in the 254. Amazing football podcast. I listen to it every week, every single week. So if I miss, what the point is, that podcast needs to be signed up and put in a schedule somewhere so more people can win. And let me give you a classic example. When people began to stream music in the UK, people saw it as the death of the record industry. The record industry don't know what to do. Why? Because you know what? I'm no longer gonna buy this single for 99 pence. I'm just gonna stream it whenever I feel like listening to it. And it's gonna cost me like £1 bob to stream it. So death of music. The record companies had to realign themselves to streaming and bring streaming into the fold, so that now when I have a song and you want to be number one, it's not just about sales anymore. It's about how many streams you've had. They had to work with the chart companies, the radio stations, and the streaming platforms to get their foothold. And now there's so much money in the music industry abroad, because guess what? Streams are now going towards the record, the major labels. If radio does not learn from that analogy, it's going to struggle in the future, because what's going to happen is advertisers are going to look for particular podcasts who speak to the demographic that they want to speak to. And don't be fooled. It might be that the podcast that you listen to today has 10,000 listens. Your podcast might have 10,000 listens. One day, you're going to get that interview or that exclusive that's going to catapult your podcast into the realms of 20s, 30s, 40, 50,000. And if you're getting 50,000 streams a week or a month or whatever, you can't not notice that.
Yeah.
If 40,000 people or 50,000 people listen to your podcast every month, somebody who maybe can't afford to go to mainstream radio is going to come to you and say, by the way, I've heard my people listening to this thing. Can we work together? So for every radio station out there, integrate podcasting into your schedules, or you're going to have to do it retroactively in the years to come.
I've seen a couple start to do that already here. So I guess people are kind of moving in the right direction. It's like live together. Yeah.
Use the traditional radio to enhance the podcast industry, and use the podcast industry to get the content you want to drive listenership to your station. It is a no-brainer. Completely. So that's what the future is. Our podcast is doing very, very well. We're getting numbers are crazy. Like, I'm very studious when it comes to analytics and stats. And I can say to you that we are, if not, we're one of the most listened to podcasts in Kenya.
Yes.
Without a doubt.
It's true.
And it's gonna grow, and now it's for us to challenge ourselves to spread out into the wider region and then spread out across the continent. We're an English-speaking podcast, so we can connect in the Ghanas and the Nigerias and the South Africas and all the other Anglophile countries. How do we now tweet our content so that someone who's listening to us in South Africa can say, these guys are funny, man. I mess with these guys. You know what I'm trying to say? So that's, to me, it's an incredible journey that I'm happy to be on. And with technology, like, we don't even record in the same location anymore. Like, I'm in my house, Calvin's in his house, Andy's in his house. So there is actually, it's a no-brainer. Also in the digital space, and get your apps out. Can I advertise something on your
Yes,
on your podcast? Do you want an exclusive?
Come on now.
Jeez. All right, so you know, a few years ago, I had the G Money app.
Yeah.
Which is, it was like everybody was like, wow, at the time. But it's very basic, but it worked.
Yeah.
Had a little radio station, it had a little mixes, stuff. I've just got the email. The new version of the G Money app is out. It's not out. Well, actually, it's going to be out in a couple of weeks, I guess.
Damn.
It's now in trial phase in California. It's been developed in California, in Silicon Valley. This app is going to change everything.
Okay.
Everything. Like, I can tell you, look for your favorite DJ. Look for their app if they have one. I'm guaranteeing you, the game is changing again. And I've just received the email today. So that's a super exclusive. So look out for the new G Money app.
Are you excited?
Even, to be honest, it's probably not even going to be called the G Money app.
Okay.
Because I don't want to tie it to myself. That's selfish. That's like self-aggrandizement. I used my name to get the initial 10,000 people to sign up. But now it goes on to another iteration, and I'm so excited about this space. So podcasting, technology, stay across of that, but most importantly, stay safe.
Okay.
Wash your hands and listen to Ruby's podcast.
Wait. We haven't finished.
I thought we were done. You just said, before you go. Okay, go.
Yeah, before you go, please tell me how you got these drops from Jay-Z and Usher and all these people, and how you flex so hard.
I don't do it anymore. When's the last time you heard me play?
Listen, when I was an intern, I'd walk into the station and be like, yeah, G is on the phone with Elaine. He just decided to call. I'm like, what?
Okay.
So how did that happen?
So for drops, drops are nothing. I mean, I've interviewed Jay-Z.
Okay.
But for many of the drops I have, I've never even met the person. Like, for example, I've never met Rick Ross. I've met Nas. I've met Nas more than once, but that drop that I got it from a record company. The Jay-Z drop, I was there when he was doing it. And I can tell you, like, I gave Jay-Z a whole sheet of paper. Jay-Z said, I ain't reading all that. Jay-Z said, I am not reading all of that. And he just did he did 2 drops for me, one for the station, and then he's like, I'm not reading all that. Jay-Z is different, by the way. Yeah. He's different, bruv. So some of the artists, obviously you get drops when they come. So you do an interview with Damian Marley. So, if you're smart, they'll say you have 10 minutes. Yeah. So you do all of your questions in 8. Yeah. Then you're like, oh, by the way, can you say this for me? And then he does it. But many labels just send you drops. So for example, I have a friend who works at One Extra, who works at the BBC. And so let's say that they're interviewing Rotimi. They'll just say, oh yeah, do a drop for Homeboys. And they just do it. So it's promo for the artist as well. Okay. And one thing that artists realize, that if you have a drop from an artist, you're going to play their music a lot more. Yeah. So for example, I'm not going to play a Nas song and put a Jay-Z drop over it. But if I have a drop that says, yo, this is Jay-Z, and nobody else in the market has that drop, I'm going to play as many Jay-Z songs as I can, so that I can get to play the drop. You know what I'm trying to say? So when I first came into the market, I was very aware that nobody had that level of access. Yeah. So I made sure that everybody heard. Like, I think my second week, we had an interview with Mary J. Blige. Yeah. That blew people's away. We had an interview, we even had an interview with Biggie's mom. What? Yeah, we had a big interview with Biggie's mom. We had Kelly Rowland. I remember going to London, and I'd done some work with Kelly Rowland before I came here. And there was just, I had emceed a community project that she was launching in the UK. I remember going back to the UK on holiday for a few days, and I'd gone to One Extra, and Kelly was there. And I was trying to get an interview to come back to Homeboys. And I remember her PR person was like, no, we don't have time. Then Kelly came out and she was like, hey, how you doing? And I was like, yo, listen, I'm trying to get an interview and your people are saying that we don't have time. And she's like, nah, let's do it even for 5 minutes. Yeah. And then we ended up getting a 20-minute interview with her. Dope. And that was specifically for Homeboys Radio. Dope. You know what I'm trying to say? So,
is she as stunning as she
looks? She's beautiful. She's always been the most beautiful and talented member of Destiny's Child.
This is facts.
Without facts only. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. The time I met Beyonce when they were Destiny's Child. This is even before Michelle. This is Latavia, Latoya, Kelly, and Beyonce. Beyonce didn't even speak. Oh. She said she had a sore throat. Oh. But Latavia, Latoya, and Kelly were so super engaging, you know. And funny enough, I interviewed them above a record a shop in Brixton, South London. Like there was no star shit happening then. And Beyonce didn't talk to us. But she signed our records, so we have records that are signed by Beyonce and stuff. And it's been a good journey, man. It's been amazing.
It's been incredible.
It's been crazy.
Who has been your favorite interview so far of your career?
Wow.
And why?
I would say, boy, there's about 3 that stand out. Can I mention them?
Yeah.
All right. First up, I would say Ludacris. Because Ludacris...
Damn, G, you're not just going to be dropping these names like
but
casual.
you asked me.
Okay, sour. Flex, boss.
I interviewed Ludacris while I was still on Pirate Radio.
Damn.
Yeah, while I was still on Pirate Radio. Semtex once again, because he was at Def Jam by then. So he made sure that we had everybody, man. We had Irv Gotti, Ja Rule, all those people.
Oof.
Christina Milian, A. Marie.
Okay.
Everybody. We've interviewed all of those people, right? Ludacris came to the hood. So like we were in an abandoned flat apartment. The studio was set up in the kitchen, so you could see out the window if the feds were coming, right? Some guy had been smoking weed in there, so there's like a half a spliff in the ashtray by the decks. And Luda came in and did his thing, and he's like, I can see you guys are having a good time looking at the ashtray. The fact that these Benzes pulled up in the middle of the hood. And Luda came upstairs and did an interview. That was a highlight for me. Another standout moment for me was DJing at Lauryn Hill's album launch for the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, which came out in 1998. I actually have a double platinum plaque with my name G Money on for that album. Which I think at some point I was gonna bring here, but I left it at home because
You're not attached to material possessions.
No, I've left it at home because if it comes here, it still has to go back at some point. Yeah, so that was a different. I remember meeting Lauryn Hill and Ron Marley. The album was called The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. The party was thrown in a school.
Damn.
Imagine the setup. So it's like, and the invite was actually rulers. So like a wooden ruler with the invite, the party invite on it. You know, that was a great moment. Who else was amazing? Christina Milian was amazing. And what was amazing about her was she stayed in touch after the interview. Okay. So by the time I interviewed her like the second or third time, it was just like we were boys, you know? And you rarely get that with artists. Neil was like that as well. Neil is mad fun. Neil used to be managed by a good friend of mine, or production done by a guy called Tim Blacksmith. So Neil, I did his first radio interview in the UK. And then when I met him again at another station, I think it was Six Music, was just launched. We interviewed him again. What the fuck was I doing at Six Music? Was I? Oh no, I don't remember what happened. The station had been moved over there. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm just trying to remember why I was over there. And then he came through and he was like, yo, what up? So he was mad cool. Interview wise, reggae wise, you know the people who I'm friends with. Conscience, Elaine, Cecile, Chris Martin, those they're all special people. Everybody else, I mean, I've interviewed some of the legends. Like Capleton was one of my favorite interviews as well, only because I'm such a fan of his music as well. Luciano's always a good interview as well. If you're a reggae head, always good value with Luciano. I've just been blessed, man. I think Usher was cool as well. Mad cool. We were both young. If you see that video, we were both young. Yeah, so it's been a good. I missed that. But what I'm excited about, and especially about going back to the UK to work in radio, what I'm excited about is some of the new energy that's coming through. So, you know, I'm excited by the Dave Santans, the Jay Huzzes. I'm excited by the new dancehall artists, the Craniums. I'm excited about all of the new stuff as well, man. Like, there's a new artist, Alana Maria. I interviewed her recently, and she's had one song on heavy rotation on the station called Happier. But it was just, it's so exciting to talk to new artists at the beginning of their careers, you know? Because I wouldn't have the relationship that I have with some of these Jamaican artists if I hadn't shown interest in what they were doing at the beginning of their careers, you know? It's like the guy who produced Gal Policy for Cranium. I remember when my grandmother passed away in 2012, he came to the house in Jamaica And he was up and coming then. He was like, nobody knew who he was. But now he's produced some of the biggest songs for the biggest artists.
Look at that.
So it's a case of just being cool with people when they come through and not treating them like stars, because they get treated like stars everywhere they go.
Yeah.
Yeah, everywhere they go. Can you imagine what it's like if everywhere you go, you're switched on? It's like, oh, I've got to be switched on.
Yeah.
Like for me, it's like my friends, like even Vic could tell you, I don't have any friends in the industry. I know everyone, but you're never gonna hear me say, let me go and hang out with this celebrity or that celebrity, or go here or go to this cool place, because it's the people around me who keep me grounded. You need people around you who will say to you, listen, you fucked up. You get me?
Yeah.
Or this was wrong, or that was right, or this was good, or that was bad.
Yeah.
If you surround yourself in that bubble, man, it's self-destruction, and it's tiring.
Yeah.
I only want to be G Money from 6 till 10. I want to spend the rest of my life doing regular shit that people do. Like, for example, whether it's running my business, whether it's like, dreaming about the next. This guy, this guy he's teaching me how to trade.
Oh, word.
Stocks and shares. Imagine that. Learning how to trade stocks and shares at my big fucking age. Damn. So it's all about that next thing and that next energy. So, keep people around you who enhance your journey, man.
Yeah.
So I've had some cool interviews, and those are some of the highlights.
Dope. Biggest snub?
Biggest snub?
Yeah. I have to ask.
Oh shit! I spoke about this the other day on when I interviewed Romain Virgo. It wasn't really a snub, but it was just I didn't get it. There's a time, maybe about 8 years ago, but I get it now. But I'll explain. I was in Jamaica. I was at Penthouse recording with one of the famous studios out there, and I was there. That's the day I met Romain Virgo. That's the day I met Assassin. I'd gone there to interview Romain Virgo, because he had the song "I Am Rich in Love" was a big tune in Kenya. So I'd gone there to interview him. Assassin was there as well, and Busy Signal was there. And I got the interview with Romain. Assassin, he was a cool guy. I'm like, yo, I'm from Nairobi. Yo, you're Jamaican, you live over there? Yeah, man, I'm doing an interview. Sasco. D Major was there that day as well. Tamika Marshall was there that day as well. Busy Signal was there. And the legendary Donovan Jermaine was there. So I go and I ask, I'm like, yo, Busy Signal, I'm like, yo, can I get an interview? Yeah. Talk to my manager. Yeah, see, I just left it. I felt so like, but then I realized at that point, Busy had just come out of jail. He just come out of jail in the States for whatever he done or whatever. So at that point in his life, I don't think he trusted anybody. Because even now, Romain was like, yo, he's a different person now. But at that time, his life was not open. And I've never, he's the one person who I probably would love to interview, just to lay that ghost to rest and find out what he was like then to now.
Okay.
But I've never had the opportunity to interview Busy Signal.
Well, we're still alive, so you still got time.
Actually, to be honest, I've never sought the opportunity to. You
would have.
Yeah. But I will.
Yeah.
I will. Actually, I will. That's going to be my next project. I need to interview Busy Signal.
Okay, good. Yeah. Now, we've wrapped it up. Just, I guess, do like
a little... 3 times.
I've said do a little outro. This is the final time.
Outro?
Yeah.
What does the outro sound like? Am I supposed to say, like, thank you very much for the opportunity for the second and last interview I'm ever going to do in Kenya?
Thank you.
Yeah. This is super exclusive. I think I've... who else? Somebody else wanted an interview. It was Styles. Sorry.
You're gonna
Sorry, Styles. I'm not doing it. I'm not gonna do it.
Electric Avenue?
No. Styles was doing this thing online where he was interviewing people. I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
Styles is a great interviewer, so I can't. But I'm not doing any more interviews ever. This is 100% exclusive to you. And I think by now people know I don't do these things.
Yeah.
So I've taken the opportunity to talk. And then, if you're interested in the journey, the website is there, conradgray.com. The app is coming, like I said. Business-wise, please support Looks Like a Video. We're trying to do big things with David as a designer coming out of Kibera.
Yeah. He's on the Beyonce site.
He's on the Beyonce site, man. And you know, we have strategic partnerships with distributors in Germany. We're developing distribution in the UK and in America. That company is gonna blow, and I'm happy to be mentoring that success story there. Also, I would just say, most importantly, fam, live your life. You know, this is how it works, right? You're gonna spend 20 or 30 years trying to figure this shit out, and then one day you're gonna work it out that everything you were stressing about didn't even mean nothing. So live your life. Appreciate the people around you who bring out the best in you. Love hard, and definitely just do the right things. I mean, look at when I say do the right things for yourself. You know, not be selfish. Do the right thing for yourself and protect your mental energy, man. Energy is real. Like, somebody can walk in the room and change the energy. Someone can walk in your life and change the energy. Listen to your spirit, because I guarantee you the only time I've ever fucked up in my life is when I haven't listened to my spirit. Listen to your true north and keep it moving. Pow. I'm done. Let me throw my headphones down like Jay-Z.
And that right there marks the end of my conversation with G Money, the first and last sit-down interview in Kenya. I hope you enjoyed this conversation, and if you did, make sure that you put your homies on game, share it on Facebook, on Twitter, on WhatsApp, on Instagram, on TikTok, wherever social media platform you are on. Make sure that you share this conversation, and of course, I'm gonna be catching you for another episode of the Kingship Podcast next week. Peace.